There is a method that turns almost any interview into a conversation you walk out of feeling like you already have the offer in your inbox. And before you click away, no, this is not another recycled list of tips from someone who has never actually sat on the other side of the hiring table. So if you have ever bombed an interview you were sure you nailed, or watched someone less qualified than you get the role anyway, this is the video that finally explains why. Hey, what's going on? I'm Dre, and I spent years inside corporate recruiting departments watching how hiring decisions actually get made behind closed doors. The candidates who get the offer are almost never the most talented people in the pile. They are the ones who quietly understand the unwritten rules of the room. So today, I am walking you through the interview secrets that actually move the needle, from the moment you start preparing all the way to the moment you hit send on your follow-up note. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to know is that almost every career channel out there will tell you to prepare like your future depends on it. What none of them warn you about is the very real cost of over-preparing. I have seen countless candidates eliminated in the first 5 minutes simply because their answers sounded like they had been workshopped to death in a Google Doc the night before. The entire purpose of an interview is to give the hiring manager a feel for what working alongside you would actually be like. The moment your delivery starts sounding like a TED Talk you memorized in front of the mirror, that signal disappears. If you are someone who blocks off an entire weekend to prep for a single conversation, I want you to stop doing that immediately. Cap your prep at 1 focused hour. Inside that hour, you should be able to clearly answer 4 things. What does this company actually do? Who are their biggest competitors? Why are you specifically applying here? And what core skills does this role demand? That is it. Everything beyond those 4 answers is noise. Speaking of preparation, if you are not logged in or sitting in the lobby at least 5 minutes before the scheduled start time, in the eyes of a recruiter, you are already running behind. Trust me, we notice these things. And when you do show up, present yourself 1 notch above the role you are interviewing for. If the position is business casual, you are wearing something just slightly sharper. Visual signals matter way more than people are comfortable admitting. Now here is a secret that gets almost no airtime, and it costs candidates jobs every single day. At the very start of the interview, before any real question gets asked, you are going to hear some version of, "So how is your day going?" The absolute worst thing you can do is answer with, "Good, you?" Or, "Doing fine, thanks." Those responses are a wasted opportunity. Use that opening to actually be a human being for a few seconds. Mention something small and real. The weather where you are. A project you wrapped that morning. The fact that you just made the strongest cup of coffee of your life. That tiny bit of texture gives the interviewer a thread of conversation to latch onto, and suddenly the call feels like 2 people talking instead of an evaluation. Those 30 seconds of warmth quietly lower your nerves and build rapport before the real questions even start. Now we get to the question that derails more interviews than any other. Tell me about yourself. The formula I want stuck in your head every time you hear it is simple. 3 pieces. Who you are professionally, what you do well, and what you are looking for next. And remember that research you did earlier. This is where it earns its keep. You are going to weave the company directly into your answer so it lands with intention. It might sound something like this. Thanks for taking the time today. I am a marketing manager with about 6 years of experience leading content strategy for B2B software companies. When I was reading through the description for this role, the part that immediately stood out was the focus on building a global content engine, because that is exactly what I have been doing for the last 2 years at my current company, where I helped grow our organic pipeline by over 40%. I have also been mentoring 2 junior strategists during that time, which has reminded me how much I enjoy the leadership side of the work. Right now, I am looking for a role where I can take that experience and apply it at a company that is genuinely investing in international growth, which is part of why this opportunity caught my eye. That answer is roughly 45 seconds long. It tells the interviewer who you are. It proves you actually read the job description, and it ends on a clean signal of intent. After that, the trickier stretch begins, because the interviewer is going to start asking behavioral questions. Tell me about a time you handled a difficult stakeholder. Walk me through a project that did not go to plan. There is no crystal ball that lets you predict every single one, but you do not need one. Before the call, pull up the job description and study the skills they are asking for. Things like cross-functional collaboration, comfort with data, ability to manage ambiguity, ownership over outcomes. For each skill on that list, write down one specific example from your work history that proves you have actually done it. Not your personal life, not your hobbies, actual professional examples. You are not memorizing scripts here. You are loading your brain with a small mental library of stories you can reach for the second a question comes in. That single exercise is the difference between freezing up on the spot and sounding sharp. What you say matters, but how you say it matters even more. One of the most overlooked truths in interviewing is that recruiters and hiring managers are rarely deep experts in the exact work you do. They are experts in evaluating people. So if you flub a small technical detail, half the time it sails right past them. What does not sail past them is when you sound unsure, when you ramble, when your voice trails off, when you fill the room with filler words. Communication confidence is the actual currency in that conversation, and you cannot fake confidence without preparation underneath it, which is exactly why those example stories from earlier matter so much. This is also where I want to defend something that gets dragged online constantly these days: the STAR method. Some people insist it is outdated and stiff. I strongly disagree. And I think the people complaining about it have just been doing it wrong. STAR works because it forces structure into a part of the conversation that otherwise spirals. 1 to 2 sentences on the situation. 1 to 2 on the task. The meat of your answer goes into the action you personally took. Then you close with the result, ideally with a real number attached. Done correctly, your answers land somewhere between 60 and 90 seconds. Go longer than that and you lose the room. Go shorter than 30 and the interviewer is not entirely sure what you actually did. Another quiet killer in interviews is pace. When people are nervous, they speed up. Words start tumbling out. Sentences run together. And suddenly, you have said 3 things without taking a single breath. Slow it down. Slower than you think you need to. Pauses are not awkward when you are the one controlling them. Pauses signal that you are choosing your words deliberately, which is exactly what a senior, confident person does. A great trick is to record yourself answering practice questions on your phone and then play it back. You will hear instantly where you are rushing and where you are mumbling. Fix it before the real call. Now let's talk about how you signal that you have options, because this is where people accidentally tank their leverage. If the interviewer asks whether you are speaking with other companies, the answer is yes. Even if right now, technically, the answer is no, the answer is still yes. You do not need to name specific companies, and you actively should not. Something like, I am in conversations with a few other teams at the moment, but this role is the one I have been most excited about. Does the job perfectly. The psychology behind this is simple. The moment a recruiter senses that other employers want you, your perceived value goes up. Scarcity creates desire. Desperation does the opposite. The same rule applies the second money enters the conversation. If they ask what salary range you are targeting, do not blurt out a number you pulled from a Reddit thread. Take a breath. A graceful redirect sounds like, "I am happy to share where I am thinking, but it would also help me to know the range that has been approved for this position so we can make sure we are aligned." Let them go first whenever you can. If they push back and insist that you answer first, this is where your earlier research starts paying off. Take your real target number and inflate the floor of your range just slightly. So if the market says the role pays around $70,000 and you would happily accept that, you say something like, "I am looking at opportunities in the range of $72,000 to $80,000, but I am flexible depending on the full picture of the role." That floor gives you room to negotiate upward later without ever boxing yourself in. Toward the end of the interview, when they flip the script and ask whether you have any questions, most candidates lean on the same tired list. What does success in this role look like? What are the team's priorities for the next year? Those are fine, but here is the move almost nobody pulls. Ask one question about the interviewer themselves. Something you can only know if you actually look them up on LinkedIn beforehand. "I notice you have been at this company for almost 5 years now. What has kept you here?" Or, "I saw you moved into recruiting after working in operations. What sparked that pivot?" That kind of question is so rare that it sticks in the interviewer's memory, because suddenly you are the candidate who treated them like a human being and not just a gatekeeper. After the interview ends, the work is not quite over yet. Fewer and fewer people send follow-up notes these days, partly because companies ghost so often that it can feel pointless. But that is exactly why a thoughtful follow-up still cuts through the noise. Within 24 hours, send a short, sincere message that references something specific from your conversation. A topic you covered, an insight they shared, anything that proves you were actually present and listening. The bonus is that if you do not hear anything back within a week or so, you can simply reply to that same thread and ask for an update without it feeling cold or pushy. Here is the thing to lock in. Landing the job is not about being flawless. It is not about reciting the perfect answer. It is about preparing in a way that actually frees you up to be human in the room, communicating with calm precision, and paying attention to the small signals that almost nobody else bothers with. And remember, the person sitting across from you genuinely wants you to succeed. If they hire you, their open role closes, their workload lightens, and in many cases, they get paid for it. You are not begging anyone for a chance. You are showing up as the solution to a problem they have been trying to solve for weeks. If something in this video shifted the way you see your next interview, do me one favor before you go. Hit that subscribe button. There is a lot more coming on this channel, and I want you in the room for all of it. Catch you in the next one.